Join me inside my writing yurt. Come on. So, if anybody has any last questions about what I've said, you are welcome to unmute yourself, or turn on your video if you so desire, and you're welcome to ask. And of course, you're welcome not to ask if I have in fact answered your questions. Um, Anybody have any last questions for me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you talked about creative writing. So how do we in children inculcate this behavior to write? Like children are always running away from writing.
Uh,
So structurally, how do we? Because we know that only when you write, you will be able to think of new words and,
yes.
of course, grammar.
Yes. That's a wonderful question. And in a nutshell, I would say part of my approach in any case would be to start with writing, so to speak, out loud, to start with making up stories spontaneously out loud and finding interesting ways to do so. For example, something that I've done with students that I've worked with has been to bring out some odd objects. For instance, I'd bring out my little golden or bronze frog, and I'd put it on the middle of the table, and I'd set a timer for 5 minutes, and I'd say, okay, see if you can make up a story about this frog. First thing that comes to your mind, and just have fun exploring a kind of spontaneous story out loud. Then, once you have some intriguing and interesting story about your frog, or a rock that you find, or some site that you see around your house, then the next step is to say, okay, how can we take that story and write it down, so that we start to connect our spontaneous expression out loud with the process of writing. Because sometimes when we sit down to write, we kind of inhibit ourselves, or we constrict ourselves when we think, oh, I have to write this correct sentence, and a lot of the creativity and fun can disappear. So I encourage bringing the creativity and fun back into play by a playful kind of exploration of storytelling out loud, and then going from there to writing it down on the page. And in that process, ideally what we discover is that in wanting to tell our story, we find ourselves wanting to find more words, wanting to find words to express some interesting idea, or the smell of the place that we're describing, the sounds that we hear as we walk through some narrow alleyway, or whatever occurs to us in our storytelling. So those are some of my sort of key ideas. And in fact, there's a recent video that I did for a previous Ask Cozy Grammar session, which talks about this in greater detail. So I'll actually send you a direct link to that video so you can see a little bit more of some of these ideas. So I hope that answers, at least
Yes.
starts to answer your question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all being here. I'm grateful for your questions. I'm grateful for your presence. We'll be making these videos available on our YouTube channel. And in fact, I'll send you a direct link to each of you individually so you can listen again to what I had to say. So thanks again, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.